Okay, guys, let's get straight into it and start building out some automations. So look, I've literally just made this database. It's a template database. It's completely empty. So that is the first step, is to make a database in Airtable. And now we're going to connect Airtable to Integromat. So if this is your first time doing this, what you're going to want to do is come over into the Developer Hub up here and create a new token. And I'm going to give all permissions. And then I'm just going to give access to this particular database. There's my API key. And the reason that I've done that is so you should be very, very careful with who you share this with, just because it is yeah, just because it's just because it's essentially a password. So if you share this with anyone, they're going to have full permissions on anything that you're doing, essentially. So I've just made that, and I don't mind that it's shown on the screen because essentially no one can hack me. So we come in here and we type in Airtable, and we'll do search records, and we're going to make a new connection. And just paste it in there, and we press continue, and this should connect correctly, and we should get our base here. Of course, Instagram targeting system. That's exactly what we wanted. Tables are simply in reference to this top section up here. So I'm going to rename this into Instagram accounts. We'll name each one a record, save. And then I'm just going to want to refresh this so it pulls in the new fields, Instagram account. And you see we can link it into a specific view or do anything that we want there. It's not necessary for us to do that now. So let me just go ahead and start off by renaming the fields on what is some of the data that we're interested to store here. So let's start off with username, followers, which we'll set to be a number field, decimal 0, following, maybe we want to store the user's bio as well. Number of posts, profile picture, I always try to keep shorter fields up here as well. Picture, maybe do they have a link anywhere? And then just for the sake of this, I'll also make a and so this is going to be a formula. And we put the username there. There we go. And so that will automatically generate us some URLs that we can open. So all of this data we can just go ahead and put in automatically. I think that's should be fine for us for now. Let's just go ahead and put in someone to start with. We'll start off with The Rock. So I would, in fact, let's rename this. Let's do these as source accounts. Target accounts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape the followers of these source accounts. So let's say that we have like multiple competitors. In fact, let me just do like a real world example. Let's say that we owned like a yoga, or we had a client who's like a yoga studio in San Francisco. So what the first thing I would do is get yoga studio Instagram, San Francisco. So just to start off with, we'll just take a few of these manually. Yeah, it's a yoga studio. So yeah, let's say we did a little bit of like research, which is what we're doing now. We're getting a few pages. We've got that. We have this one. And we can also find these automatically in future. Yoga Flow SF. And so we can basically make the assumption that everyone following these pages, they're all going to be people who are in San Francisco or visitors of San Francisco, and they have an interest in yoga. So these are going to be our source accounts that we scrape from. They'll be competitors in most cases, and we'll see if our button works now as well. Which it does, so in case we want to quickly go and check anything there, we can just click open, change that to open Instagram. Where's my text? Okay. And then the target accounts, we're going to make in fact, let's start off with keeping it very simple. Source accounts, we want all that information, and so we can run this scenario just to make sure it pulls in correctly. And you'll see here we've got the username, YogaFlow SF, we've got a total of 5 records, which we have 5 records there, so that makes complete sense. So let us go ahead and we're going to do an HTTP request. This is the most common type of request that I use. When we look at in Integromat here, we have all of these different like pre-built plugins where we can just connect our account and it will send out very quickly. But the tool that I always use is HTTP. This allows us to integrate with absolutely anything. I can integrate with my mobile phone. I can send the HTTP request from my mobile phone. You can send one to me. Anyone in the team can do it by simply opening a website would be an HTTP request. Rapid API is the way to integrate with it is using a HTTP request. Let's look for an Instagram scraper here. Instagram scraper 2022. I think this is the one we checked earlier. And I just want to check that it has a way to extract following and followers. Okay, user ID. So it asks for a user ID parameter, which means that we also want to store that in our Airtable field. We'll keep keep that in there as well. Okay. So I'll also just kind of build out a bit of, like we'll make views to build out the process. Scrape source count. This is kind of the first step that needs to be done. Okay, let's come over here, and we are going to take get user info by username. So we're going to copy this code here. This is example code. Don't be scared by this, like we'll literally break it down very quickly. And we can just paste it in here. So we can see that the method is a get request. So of course we want the method here to also be set to get, and we can just delete that part. Then if we come down here, we can see that the headers, the first one is this, which is a rapid API key. So we can put that in here, and then we can copy this part just below, which is our actual API key. Again, this is a fake account, so you're more than welcome to waste your time trying to hack me, because there's no credits there or anything. And then we have the second header, which is the API host, which also comes down here. And then we just copy the second part of the text and place that in as the value. That is now done. So we can delete all of that. And then finally, under parameters, under query string, we're going to put user, and then we will put in the user's name, which we're going to take from Airtable. This is referred to as a variable. The username is a variable that is being taken from Airtable, and it's going to process itself 5 times. So we can also delete that part, delete this, and sometimes Integromat will give us that error, in which case we just need to rewrite HTTPS. Let me delete that. Yeah. I don't know why it's being funny with us. Okay, save that. So I'll just rename these. Normally I don't do this, but it's just to keep it easier for you. Get records from Airtable. Get Instagram follower and profile details. So we're going to run this one time, just because I want to get the data from it. So if we scrape the rock in this case, sorry, subscribe. So I mean, I'll go straight in with like a $10 plan, because I know that I'm going to use it, which gives us 10,000 API requests. It should be more than enough for us to get through. Sorry, the other thing to do is tick this box here that says pass response. Otherwise, it's going to just dump raw data on us, and we want the data to be formatted in a very clean and useful way for us. Okay, so here we have the rock, and we have, why have we not scraped correctly? Maybe this API isn't so good after all. Here we go. Sorry, here we go. Under user, that is what we need. So here it has all of the data. So we have follower count, post count, following count, page ID, page name, so there's a few other things that I'm going to log actually. Is the page private? Is it a business? And the nickname of the, so you have the accounts, and then you can also have the nickname. That's not really the right word for it, but yeah. and I'll bring that over here. Yeah. So anything else we're interested in? Public email, maybe we could scrape. Phone number, I'm not really interested in, but all of that data is actually here if you wanted it. I guess, is it verified is also another interesting piece of information for us to have. And also, like, I've just something off topic, but I work on like a 34-inch. In fact, this isn't an ultra wide, but I have an ultra wide there behind me, and it's also just very nice to work off like a larger screen when you're working with Airtables that end up becoming very wide horizontally because you have a lot of different fields. It's definitely like a worthwhile investment. We can also hide the views field here for now as well. Okay, that is all looking good, and then we can come in here, we'll do Airtable, update a record. Sorry, not my Airtable, this one. Username. Full name. User ID. Page ID. Followers. Following. Bio. Media count. Picture. Picture, link, and make sure to take the external URL if we do this, because the links URL is it's a redirect of Instagram. Verified. It is verified. There. Private. And is a business. Okay. So the only other thing we want to do is I'll probably add a filter in here because we need this to be contained in the response. So we want user, for example, follower count exists. If it doesn't exist, it will be stopped here. If it does exist, then we will continue down the path. We can hit run there, and we should see Nathan has done his job right. The data starts coming in. Right, so we have the user IDs, we have the number of posts. We have the follower count, we have the following count. So interesting that these pages have such a high following count. That is quite interesting, in fact. suggests that they could be doing follow unfollow. The highest quality audience, in my opinion, is this one. Following 89 followers, 5.7K. It's pretty good. And also we can make, if perhaps we wanted to check the profile pictures, we can make them taller. We can change like the size of the row. Generally I just work in this, but it's completely up to you. And none of the pages are private, none of them are verified, and they're all businesses. So that is also quite interesting. Here are all the bios of the pages. Interesting that we didn't get a response from those two on user IDs. Not quite sure why that would be. So I'm going to now name these views, and what we will name them as is does user ID exist, because that is what we need to go on to the next step. So user ID, is empty. It means that they need to be scraped. This is the first step in our workflow. Scrape users, followers. So if user ID exists, it's not empty, so we have these 3 records here. And so we could also look at setting some other target criteria. For example, I would want to target pages where following, maybe even where following is less than 1,500. But in this scenario, let's go following is less than 1,800. And we can set some other, like whatever other types of target criteria we want. For example, we want to make sure it's a business page and we want to make sure it isn't private. Would probably be private is empty, and maybe we don't want to target verified pages. And let's say we want posts to be greater than 12. Number of posts greater than, or even, sorry, more than 12, let's do 40. So that means that if it's following more than 1,800 profiles, it will be kicked out of this view, so it won't proceed into the next stages of the automation. We don't want to target private pages. We don't want to target verified pages. Generally, verified pages have a lower quality audience. I would also set a limit on followers, actually. Followers is less than, let's do 40,000. When a page's audience starts to get kind of too big, it's just it just kind of loses like the potency. Often with like the smaller kind of micro influencers, you will see much better results. Although this page has got 2,000 posts, which does seem extremely high, but we'll leave it in there for now. Okay. So now what we will go ahead and do